Sounds up. Welcome, guys, to another podcast from me, Lee, at Evolving Mindset. Today, we're welcoming Mark Leslie. He's a musician from Liverpool. So it's amazing to have you on, Mark. How are you doing today, buddy?
Very good, yeah. Nice one, mate. It's good to be here.
Brilliant. So you know a little bit about EM, and obviously, we've spoke off camera about what we do and what the charity's about. And thankfully, you're doing a charity event in September, which we'll go into more detail a little bit later on. Right. But I think for people who are listening, Mark, and for me really, just give us a little bit of an insight into your experience with mental health. Whether it's your own or whether it's somebody you've cared for or been close to, and tell us about that journey. That'd be great.
They're all going back to when I was in school. Really, I didn't know what was up. It was just, I thought I had, a bit of anxiety, but at the time I didn't know what anxiety was. And I just remember not wanting to get out of bed at the age of 13, and I knew something wasn't right. Never ever told me mum and dad or my brothers or anything. And I just remember hiding under the bed, not wanting to go to school, didn't even want to go to footy. So for a 13-year-old lad not wanting to go to footy, there's something up. I used to get on the bus, jump off the bus, not go to school. And then my mum and dad caught me in Broadway, of all places, just walking around, and that's when it all started. Used to go and see the doctors twice a week, and they just thought I was a troubled child. Obviously interviewed my mum and dad and the bringing up I was having, and they put it down to depression.
And that was at 13,
13. And you know what, it sounded like my mum and dad spoiled me, giving me everything, holidays to Spain. I was playing footy for Tranmere at the time, YTS and everything, like the age of 16, 17, and it lasted until I was about 22, and then it sort of just took a big dive down a slide, and that's when I started hearing voices and stuff. And then I got diagnosed with minor psychosis. I was sectioned many times at the age of like 21, and it was petrifying. And to be sectioned, for those that don't know, it's very, very scary. It's not a scary place, but it's scary for whoever is getting sectioned. And then I just remember looking in the little room where I was and seeing a younger girl over the road called Chloe, and she was just an absolute mess, just screaming for help, screaming. And I just used to think, girl, come on, get your head together. Following day, it was me. Doing exactly the same thing.
That's it. And we stigmatise ourselves, don't we?
Completely.
You talk about, it starting from a young age, Mark. Is it, was there any support, not from your family, but did you feel you had any support around you, any groups, any sort of specialists? There was nothing there?
No, you might as well have just... No, to be fair, and obviously the people that were trying to help were doing the best, but they're obviously told from someone on a higher rank of scoring points, and it's this, to tell someone your problems for an hour and then go into another room and you've got to repeat it all, you've got to tell someone else, then you've got to go and see a specialist. You'd think they'd have the notes on screen, and to keep telling the same person how, you've tried suicide many times, attempted, and then it's an emotional roller coaster. So you think they know on screen what your problems are, and to repeat yourself, you just think there's just no help. You're not helping me at all. Do you know what I mean? It was tough. But then the help that I did get, it was privately. My mum and dad paid privately, and that's when I did notice the difference. It was more, if you go into like an NHS, just using them as an example, or an actual like booking, you've got to book in with the doctors. You get an hour setting, and you're just a number to them or a name. In and out, you're done. But,
I mean, I've worked on wards myself. Obviously whilst I was doing my training, and as a qualified practitioner, and I worked on a number of different wards with males, with females, acute, forensic, and very different environments, and I sometimes thought to myself, this could be scary. I wouldn't like to be in this position myself. What was your experience of that? Being on a ward and being sectioned. What was that felt like?
I think, when I'm 43 now, I know I don't look it, so thank you. I first got sectioned when I was 21, and I, to be honest, I don't remember that. It was, don't know whether it's the medication that, just erases that.
Yeah.
I was last sectioned just on 2 years ago.
Right.
It was my last time, and there won't be another time. The scariest thing for me was getting took in by the police, and actually going into a room I've never been before. And above the room, the door, the title was mental patient.
Right.
Now, I took that severely to heart, and I thought it could have been a big lottery finger pointing at me, going, he's mental. No, that just changed everything. My whole mindset changed.
Feel like labelled.
I just thought, I'm not having this. And I literally just took myself out. And I have, gone off the table every now and again, and I've gone into depression, but touch wood, I'm not on no medication anymore. I'm helping myself. But yeah, there was the ward thing, being in there. Nurses are so good, and I couldn't do their job. It's frightening, as in the fact you get mentally attached to them.
Yeah. And
it's tearful. And the day going in there, I thought, I'm not going to last. I'm going to either kill myself in here, even before I get out. But I'm obviously here to tell the story.
Yeah.
But I think the help in there is better before you actually go in.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because people like yourself, they want to help, but it's people behind closed doors that you're just a number.
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating thing about it.
And it's hard, isn't it? Obviously, like you said, the system's very different, and I think some people, unfortunately, once they're in that system, it's very hard to get out. And I'll make reference to the last podcast with Mark, with his addiction, and he said, I was in that system for 20 years. In different ways and different levels, and he's obviously still on that journey himself. And you mentioned about obviously being at Tranmere, and at that point, had you reached out, and was there anything as a club that they could help or do you think?
I just think at the time of the age, I would think I was 15. I was playing for Everton for about 3 weeks, and a guy called Neil Jusnick for Everton said, you're getting scouted by Tranmere tonight, so blah blah blah. And I just burst out crying. I didn't know what was up. And he went, is everything okay? When we're going to get you to go and see a specialist. It's a few times it's happened. And then when I was at Tranmere, it was great. Just completely felt dead comfortable, felt myself, felt like me, Mark Leslie, doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And then I just remember going out on a night out, having a laugh with the lads. Drugs got involved. And I just thought it's the downslope. And obviously, being a young, naive child and immature, the drugs come into my life then, and that's what literally completely wrecked me for good.
Would you say you became an addict, or was it more kind of recreational?
Recreational. It wasn't. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't every weekend.
Yeah.
It was trying to look the big guy in front of all his mates. You know what I mean? Try and fit in. I always wanted to fit in with. It always seemed to be the wrong crowd. Where now I want to take myself out of certain crowds, you know what I mean? The more I've grown up.
And that trying to fit in, if you like, and not be you. And that's obviously then impacted on your mental health, hasn't it then?
1,000,000%, mate, yeah.
What about that group around you, did, apart from obviously, having a good time and taking drugs, was the any kind of support that was offered then? It was all right having a good time with you, but when it was a bad time, did you feel like people stepped away from you and kind of stigmatised you?
You'd be very surprised at people that did stand in and try and help. It was more the lads' parents, and they could see changes in me each week.
Yeah.
Obviously, they come down off the ale and the drugs and stuff, playing footy. You're not performing. Now, the coaches weren't really arsed. You'll have to edit that bit I said arse there.
It's all right.
They weren't bothered. They weren't bothered about how I felt. They were more bothered about the score or how you're performing. But it was tough. It was a tough little age. But the majority, I'd say 90% of the lads I'm talking about are not here no more.
Yeah.
And it's frightening.
It's scary, and very similar, conversation with Mark last week as well. And I think, it's one of those moments, isn't it, Mark, when we step back and we think, wow, you count the amount of friends and people who you were involved with at the time, and you think, I'm still here and I'm on this journey. So, what if you could describe your journey to where you are now? Including your mental health and your drug taking, how would you describe that journey as a whole?
Just like a proper being in a sea of ice and struggling, and then as I've got older and older, the more I've opened my own mindset, the ice is just breaking into clear water.
Yeah.
And the more I have actually got older, the more mature, it sounds mad, the more mature I'm coming, and I want to help more people.
Yeah.
Like I've said to everyone, even on a group, I do a mental health group, Mark Leslie's Mental Health Mornings on Facebook,
and we can get that on Facebook, and I'll put the link into onto the video, guys. So when this goes onto YouTube, I'll stick Mark's link. So if you are struggling, you've got groups around, but Mark does a mental health morning, which obviously he'll go into more detail now. Yeah,
it's when I was really bad, I remember just helping this girl, Chloe, when we were sections, and I was helping her every day, and it was more importantly helping me, because my worries disappeared. And obviously behind that, after she was going, then what do I do for help then? I was fine, I didn't know what to do. So I started a group, Mental Health Mornings with Mark Leslie. Now there's over 1,500 people already on it, and we do coffee mornings, we do little walks together, we play cards at the coffee, it's just interaction. And the amount of people who I've looked up to, the 60 odd 70 now, who were in that group, who have physically broke down in front of me and said, "You've kept me alive." Wow. I'm thinking,
it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh mate, it's the amount that I've gone through so many tissues in the past 6 months. It's unbelievable.
So what, in regards to your journey, Mark, what sort of things have helped you to kind of, come through that journey and stay well?
The biggest thing is me singing.
Okay.
Biggest thing. Music's kept me alive. There's, I listen to music going to sleep, to meditate, and I listen to music as soon as I get up, not to pick me up. It's what I do. I'm a singer, so singing's been the biggest part of my life. But that journey is, I was a trained dancer in school as well, even though you wouldn't think. So I was in drama school as a child. I was bullied as a kid in school. So many different branches where you can think as a twig from there. Could be a number of things, but it's been a hard journey, but it's a journey I'm still on, and the journey's getting better as I get older.
Brilliant. And it's so fitting, isn't it? You sometimes we look back and we try and capture those moments where did it all start going wrong, and sometimes we can't. But I think one of the biggest things, and this is for something where people are watching and listening, sometimes it's not about dwelling on that past, is it? And it's happened, and you thankfully you're in a much better place now, aren't you?
1,000,000%, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I've been drug free for a long time now, years. I have the occasional little pint with the lads, or when I'm doing my lives, you know what I mean? But it's not to the extent where I'm bladdered and where I used to just stay out on the ale and stuff like that. But things have changed so much. I've changed my whole life around myself, obviously with the help of family and friends and stuff. But if you do look back on what you've done, you sort of beat yourself up again, where I don't, just erase it. I'm quite strong-minded like that.
Brilliant.
And going back to the group, I've got a saying: every morning you get up, literally that instant, go to the bathroom and swill your face with freezing cold water. And if you're just alive, do you know what I mean? And get a glass of water, put some music on, uplift the music. But no, I'd never ever look back on bad stuff. Yeah.
So obviously, you mentioned about your group and stuff like that, and is that every morning? Is it, Mark, or is it certain?
It was every morning. But what I noticed was I don't want to suffocate them with sad news and too much, dwelling on bad stuff. So now what I've done is, today we've done a coffee morning, and my mate Dan Johnson, who runs it with me, he's got a coffee shop in Crosby.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is just do 15 people each week, every Tuesday, 11 o'clock at the Alive gym. Let's do a coffee morning. We'll play dominoes, cards, then we'll have like 10 minutes meditation. We'll talk about stuff, go round individuals, get your troubles off your chest.
Brilliant.
So that's the new thing now, where it was every day, and I just thought, no, I don't want to overpower them with the function. But it's working.
We do a lot of sessions online now via Zoom, and originally when we started in 2019, the plan was to go into smaller venues in the community and help smaller groups. That's the reason why we set up this CIC, and to help people in the community. And in some ways COVID sort of helped us grow, you know, and
1,000,000%, yeah.
It allowed us to be able to do sessions online, and you know, we created a program, and one of the biggest things in one of the sessions we talk about is having that control and not allowing you know, your mental health to control you and your thoughts and stuff. Are you in a place now, Mark, where you think the balance is like I'm more in control now than my mental health is in control of me?
Yeah, I know a year ago, just before the lockdown, if I was to come in a depression or feel down, even my own mind would just say, you're staying in that today, you're not moving. Where now I've got so many things going on at the minute, like I could just snap out of it constantly. Brilliant. And I'm always thinking about the group, do you know what I mean? And I'm bombarded with the messages and people asking for help all the time. And I always say to them, we're not professional in any manner. Yeah. We do have numbers, the crisis team, you know, the police, anything. Yeah. We always put them up each and every day. But the place I'm at right now is a very good place.
Excellent.
And I couldn't be not proud of me, but I think where I've come from, I'm living proof of someone that was literally jumping off a bridge 2 years ago, failing, and just, you know, I'm running a group, I'm putting a show on, I'm doing all kinds of things. So
I think you're right. You said there I think you should be proud of yourself, mate, because you know it's you that's done it. You've had support around you, and we sometimes we're our own worst critic, aren't we? We don't give ourselves enough credit. And
do you know what? I'll never pat myself on the back, and I won't let no one else. I always want to put people first now. Where 5 years ago, doing the bars and the clubs, all I want to do is just get home and go to bed and put myself in that rut, and I couldn't wait. But now I'm active, and you know, I've just come back from the lakes, a nice little breakaway with my little French bulldog. Brilliant. I was swimming in Windermere at 7:15 every morning.
Nice.
You know what I mean? It's just beautiful. Nature itself now, and the mindset just opens up.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? I think, and would you agree, Mark? And this is a lot of conversations we have with a lot of people that come on our sessions. Is people come on them, they go away for a bit, and they come back and they said, "I've educated myself. I've learned more about my condition and what's wrong and how to get in control of it and how to sort of put strategies in." Is that somewhere where you've gone? Is that a journey that you've been on as well, is it?
Yeah. And what I learned more than anything is, like, I was diagnosed with psychosis years ago. Now, when I met someone else with psychosis, they didn't have any symptoms or nothing what I had.
Yeah.
It's completely different people. So I learned off that person and they learned off me. So what I've learned off them now, on the group, if someone goes, "Mark, I'm hearing things," I'm not going to sit down with them and go, "Well, I remember the time I met someone." It's like, there's numbers there to help out. Yeah. I can advise them on how to calm down and things like that. Yeah.
And you've hit the nail on the head there. And I think sometimes, you know, sometimes the best help is not trying to fix someone, isn't it? And and you know, it's great that you've learned, and we touch on it in one of our sessions as well, around having those difficult conversations and spotting the signs, you know. And definitely. I think as an organisation now, we're starting to deliver qualifications in mental health first aid as well, so we're really pushing on and trying to raise that awareness more and educate people. So you know, some of the stuff what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and it's great that you've agreed to come on as well tonight. So you know, thank you for that.
I think what'd be good as well, like yourself, one day or 1 week, come down to the coffee morning, actually meet some of the people from the group who are bad. There's, I mean, on one of the lives the other morning, we had a lady on who hasn't moved out the house for 3 years. She hasn't spoke to anyone on the phone. There was no human contact. She literally pressed, "Can I come on live?" And she was live. She was talking what she'd done in the day. She was peeling potatoes. Brilliant. Something silly like that. Opened it, you know what I mean? It revolved it.
And sometimes it's the small things, isn't it? Those small steps to to reaching a bigger goal, which is, you know, sounds amazing. And obviously, we'd be more than happy to come down, and you know, we are planning to get more involved in the community again now, and obviously lifted those restrictions, which is great, and we can get out there and get involved a bit more. So, sort of the last part, Mark, we'll talk about you've you're doing something, you know, in September, which you know, we're honoured that you've chose us as a charity to represent. Do you want to talk to us and the viewers a little bit more about what the event is coming up that you've got planned?
Okay, well, on the group that we run, I wanted to either do a holiday away, like a little, like as a Colomendy little thing with the group.
Oh God, the memories of Colomendy.
Oh, peg leg and all that. Yeah. Seventh Dawn.
Used to go as a kid in school. Used to love it.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But then it was just too much with the COVID stuff, and I went and seen the Bentley, Ryan and Billy Strand, who run the Bentley, and they offered me 2 nights at the Bentley to put one of my shows on.
Okay.
And instantly I thought, well, no, I don't want to do my show. I want to do a mental health show, a variety show. So what it consists of, it's going to be a variety show where there's going to be dancers, fire eaters, jugglers, magicians, singers, poets, opera singers. There's a variety of different stuff. During that show, there's going to be people coming on doing talks about where they've been in their life and why are they there and how they got there. A bit like what we're doing now and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not going to be dead emotional, but there will be a white screen up and, certain things and seeing things on the wards and things you're not normally what we're meant to see as normal people, what you call it. But it's on the Friday, the 24th of September. It's in the Bentley. It's sold out.
Okay.
But I'm allowed 2 complimentary tables, and one of the tables goes to yourselves. But it was sold out within 2 days.
Excellent. Wow.
Now, the reason why I've picked yourselves as the main charity, there's one more charity, but they're not being too open about what they do. So I've picked you as that you're local. Yeah. You're brilliant at what you're doing. I've read up so much about what you're doing, and I spoke to the other admins and I said, these guys are going to be the charity headlining it. So great to have you on board.
We'll be looking forward to it, and as we said earlier, we want to offer as much support as we can, and like definitely. I said, we're so grateful that you've chose us, and I'm grateful that you've come on and done this pod with us tonight. So, any sort of final message in regards to your experience with mental health and what you could give to people who are watching and listening, and to get an help?
For those that are listening now, who are sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm all right. I'm not ill," but I haven't just got that stepping stone or bottle, as they say, to talk. The best thing to do is stop being so proud of yourself. Open up, talk. It is okay not to be okay, and as everyone says, don't suffer in silence, because, as I say, always go back to it. From jumping off a bridge and failing to where I am now, helping thousands of people, you can do it, and anyone can. It's not just me, it's everyone. And this life is not a dress rehearsal. It's one go and one go only, so live life to the full.
Brilliant. Cheers, Mark. That's excellent. And just from us as Evolving Mindset, mate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight. And like I said, guys, just hit the links below in the YouTube video. We'll put all Mark's links to his Facebook and everything, so you can join those coffee mornings. And as Mark said, if you need any support, you can reach out to Evolving Mindset. There's other services out there that you can reach out to if you're in crisis. But as Mark said, please, if you are struggling, you need some support, reach out, because there's support out there. There's a lot of support out there at the minute. And there's a lot of people like us, like Mark, that want to help and are putting themselves forward and are doing this, on a voluntary basis. So utilise that support you've got around you. I'll see you again in a few weeks' time, guys, with another podcast. But Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys, and Mark, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much.